Donald Trump's disastrous national address from last night is urgently triggering calls for the 25th Amendment. We are hearing it louder than ever. Anyone of sane mind who watched whatever the heck that national address was, as Donald Trump couldn't even piece together sentences, and from what we could hear, something about China and him not being hot, I don't even know, but people are saying 25th Amendment now. I saw California Governor Gavin Newsom put out a video, 25th Amendment. I'm seeing a ton of political leaders say 25th Amendment, 25th Amendment, and I hear you loud and clear saying 25th Amendment. Notably, John Solomon, who is Donald Trump's special government employee, who was brought in by the Trump regime last month to work with the acting DNI, that's Bill Pulte, that hack, the director of national intelligence. He was asked by Von Hilliard, who asked him a great question. Like, this is the guy who was working with Donald Trump on this speech that Donald Trump gave and the release of these documents that actually show that it was Russia that was trying to interfere with the 2020 election to help Donald Trump and hurt Biden. It goes into detail, actually, about how Russia was concocting the Burisma scam in order to harm Biden and harm Hunter Biden. I'll talk about that in a moment as well. But here, even John Solomon, Trump's guy, he's the guy who's behind all of this. He says that no votes were changed by a foreign power in 2020, 2022, 2024. And then he gets pulled off by one of his staffers as he looks stunned and embarrassed at Donald Trump's behavior. And Solomon's like the guy who Donald Trump cites all the time, who Trump brought in just for this. Here, watch this.
We're not telling the president.
Did you acknowledge that there were no votes changed in 2020?
All I can acknowledge is what the intelligence shows, right? I only know the intelligence community has zero evidence that someone has flipped that a foreign power flipped a vote in 2020, 22, or 24.
And you have you're able to acknowledge.
We're not through all the documents.
You're able to acknowledge that Venezuela has not tampered with voting machines in the United States.
No, the intelligence is very clear. They did it on their own machines. Why is it important that they did it on their machines? Their machine protocols are the same as America. Why? Because for a long time they did exactly.
And so the 2020 election was in fact the results as we, the American public.
I'm still researching, so let me. This is the first.
But there's no intelligence.
Not yet.
There is no intelligence that the election would have said that Donald Trump was president.
The president said that's enough. Thanks, Jim.
Now, what we should note as well is Donald Trump's like, back then, my intelligence community lied to me, and I'm hereby calling on my regime, my government, to prosecute the people who were behind this during my first term. Okay, so you're saying your own people screwed you. Who would those people be? Oh, so John Ratcliffe, Donald Trump's current CIA director, was Donald Trump's director of national intelligence during the first term. So are you accusing your current CIA director of being the criminal mastermind who was trying to destroy you and working with China? So then CIA director, the current CIA director, who during Trump's first term was the director of national intelligence. So he would be the guy responsible for all of this. He had to put out a statement, and he didn't back up what Donald Trump was saying last night. Trump's own CIA director did not back what Donald Trump was saying. And we know in real time, John Ratcliffe in 2020 and 2021 put out a report saying that there was no election interference that was capable of overturning the results of the election that led Biden to win, and that these claims were false. That's what he said back then. So this is what Ratcliffe put out after Donald Trump's speech. To support President Trump's transparency initiatives, the CIA has taken significant steps, including providing declassified documents for public release, protecting our democracy and the integrity of our elections from foreign influence and interference remains paramount, This is why we produce key intelligence reporting showing that Venezuela's government had developed capabilities to manipulate electronic voting systems, raising serious concerns for U.S. election infrastructure security. Now tell me where they interfered and overturned the results of the election. Obviously, he's not going to say that because that didn't happen. I have long publicly highlighted China's nefarious efforts to influence the 2020 election against President Trump, as evidenced by my dissent to the flawed January 2021 intelligence community assessment. You were the director of national intelligence what were you doing in real time? And by the way, in your so-called dissent in 2021, you never disagreed with the findings that there was interference capable of overturning the results or any significant or any interference at all. And so let's keep on reading what he says here. The documents declassified today shed further light on China's intentions. These matters deserve public scrutiny to ensure our democracy's foundation, the security and public confidence of our elections, is unassailable. Notice what he doesn't say there. Notice that he doesn't say that there was anything unfair about the elections, because he's basically the guy now being accused by Trump of overturning their elections in favor of Biden. But here's actually, as I mentioned last night, when we take a look at what Trump just declassified, the docs released by Trump confirmed that Russia, as Sam Stein said, tried to spread claims that Biden was engaged in criminal activity vis-a-vis Burisma, and that it advanced those narratives with U.S. officials and planned high-profile corruption scandals regarding Burisma at the peak of the 2020 U.S. presidential campaign to help Trump and hurt Biden. Also, documents released tonight echo those released already. Trump's speech conveniently left out, as Sam Stein puts it, that the biggest election interference came from Russia and was designed to help Trump win and hurt Biden. This is from tonight's batch, and it specifically talks about working with officials attached to Trump or relating to Trump to come up with the Burisma thing and the laptop and all of that. Also, one of the documents that Trump disclosed last night had a section noting that China targeted the Biden campaign also and does not currently intend to covertly interfere to try and sway the outcome of the election. Well, this is California Governor Gavin Newsom. Here's what he just had to say. He says, 25th Amendment moment. Here, play this clip.
Well, the only thing missing tonight in Donald Trump's speech was tinfoil. This was a legitimate 25th Amendment moment, the ramblings of a mad king. Don't get me wrong, foreign interference in our elections, that's a real thing. Nothing about what you watched tonight, though, was real. It's make-believe. He wants to rig the election in 2026. He knows he's going to lose. He needs to rig the election before one vote was cast. That's what that whole thing was about tonight. This is a serious and profound moment where we can either fall prey to cynicism, fear, and anxiety, or we can step up and step in, mobilize, organize, not agonize, and turn out in record numbers this November and end Donald Trump's presidency as we know it. We can do that together.
Now, state regime media, which calls itself Fox, they had to release a statement right after Trump's deranged and unhinged speech, saying Fox has not seen the evidence yet, and it is not in a position to evaluate the accuracy of the president's statement and claims. Here, play this clip.
Also heard the president make claims that electronic voting machines are vulnerable and easily compromised. Fox News has not seen that evidence yet, is not in a position to evaluate the accuracy of the president's statements and claims at this time.
Now, folks, Donald Trump's speech is frankly more deranged than Rudy Giuliani in front of the Four Seasons landscape. Like it's far more deranged than Mike Lindell or Sidney Powell at their most deranged. I mean, I guess they were at least speaking in sentences. Donald Trump was like, Venezuela, hot, China, Donald Trump. I mean, I did a whole thing on it last night. I mean, and I've been covering his cognitive and physical deterioration rapidly before our very eyes. And, I think more and more people are calling it out. That's why every day we've got to call it out. It's funny. Fox spent little over 5 minutes on Trump's speech and then shifted back to Iran. They wanted nothing to do with that deranged situation, which, by the way, Fox had to settle for nearly $1 billion for platforming this stuff in 2020. Let's play this clip.
Anyway, Aisha, thank you so much for that summary. We appreciate it. We have a ton of other breaking news and developments tonight, one starting in the Middle East.
And so one of the things that they try to do is focus on Trump's former teleprompter guy who was betting on Kalshi about what Trump would say in his various speeches, who was suspended before tonight's speech because he was exposed for his Kalshi bets. So here, play this clip.
Those allegations, but bottom line here, tonight's address was a stern warning, a stern message to Senate Republicans to pass the SAVE Act. Trace?
Indeed. Aisha Hasni live for us at the White House. Aisha, thank you. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Miranda Devine and National Review columnist Caroline Downey. Thank you both for coming on. Miranda, you first. Speaking of presidential speeches, some big news happening today. Apparently the teleprompter operator for some of the president's speeches was actually gaming the speeches.
Notably on MS Now, their coverage was good. They were talking about if anybody should be nervous, shouldn't it be John Ratcliffe? Right. John Ratcliffe was the head of Trump's intelligence community in 2020. He's now the CIA director. So Trump is accusing his own CIA director as being a co-conspirator with China. Here, play this clip.
If any of this is true, the person biggest who's in the most trouble here should be John Ratcliffe. President
who
Trump's,
oversaw the intelligence community
yes,
at the time and wrote
yes,
the report and oversaw the report.
So during Donald Trump's first term, John Ratcliffe allowed China to get, $200 million voter records. Those voter records are public. Again, I'm hearing that there's two senior officials I'm talking to, I want to describe them more, who are like, this is all public. This all occurred under John Ratcliffe. And right here this is the dissent that John Ratcliffe submitted in 2021 to the analysis that was done about foreign influence operations in 2020. And his only complaint in this document is that the effort by China to influence public opinion, disinformation, bots, that kind of thing, is larger. He thought that the effort China made was larger than the main assessment. This was also made public, that this should have been a bigger topic, that they made this effort. There is nothing in John Ratcliffe's dissent about votes being switched in any state by China. Nothing.
In fact, in the 2020 report, they make clear that there were not votes changed, right? The one that was his report.
By the way, China put out a scathing statement attacking Donald Trump and saying, what the hell are you talking about, basically? But we should also note that while all of this was going on, the world is on fire. I mean, Donald Trump is escalating in Iran. He was destroying bridges, engaging in more war crimes. Iran responded very strongly, attacking its Arab nation neighbors. I just want to give you the context of while Donald Trump was having this, again, 25th Amendment moment. But I mean, he's a walking embodiment of why there should be the 25th Amendment. I mean, the guy is not of sound mind. He never was. He's a malignant, narcissistic psychopath. But now he's got this rapid deterioration, in my opinion, give me my opinion, very similar to Fred when Fred had his father. Alzheimer's at the same age. Donald Trump says, I believe in racehorse theory. Well, racehorse theory would mean that you would have Alzheimer's now like your dad did. And then your dad rapidly died after having Alzheimer's. And so is that your racehorse theory that you're talking about? Because that's what happened to Fred in any event. Here's a footage of what was going on in Bahrain when they were trying to shoot down what was going on in with the Iranian drone strikes and missile strikes. Here, play this clip. And then also state regime media Fox was just being utterly disgusting. I mean, just absolutely disgusting. This is what, Jesse Waters, again, I guess trying to change the topic. This is sickening. I just want to trigger warning, sickening stuff. But here's what Jesse Waters says about the high testosterone that the military is going to have now because of Pete Hegseth's wanting to give gender affirming care to men in the military to give them high testosterone shots or something. Here, play this clip.
He says you lose your endurance, muscle mass. So yeah, I want these guys on it. But you know what's going to happen? The guys that don't need it are going to take it. to triple boost.
Right.
And then they're going to get out there, and women on base, you guys better be careful. Port calls, women in Asia, you better be careful, because these guys are going to be wild animals, and you better watch out.
Okay.
Low two.
You should have held his hand.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would have.
Oh, Dana.
And just so you see how awful Trump was, again, I'm not going to play this all again, but here he talks about how China wanted him not to be so hot. Here, play this clip.
2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job.
And then Trump couldn't put a sentence together. Let's play this.
They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win. And for good reason.
And then Trump tried to say something about partisanship or bipartisan. He couldn't speak at all. Here, let's play this clip.
Their election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together. Democrats, Republicans, independents.
I shout out to this caller on C-SPAN who inspired me to do the video last night on it and to talk about what a disaster the speech is. Here's what they said on C-SPAN about MeidasTouch. Here, play this clip.
That don't have a Mercedes in their garage.
Are you going to watch? It's about 13 minutes from now. It's going to start. Are you going to watch?
No, I am not going to watch. It's going to be the same ranting that he always does. And what I'm going to do, I'll get a summary from Meidas or a summary from somewhere else. But this guy, I call him a guy. I don't have no respect for him. That he just makes me sick. And there's many people out here that are not, maybe don't watch the news or don't know what's going on. It's sad. It's sad. We're embarrassed. We're embarrassing. They're making jokes about America.
And then I'll just give you the psychological assessment by Congresswoman Ballant. She's great, huh? Democratic Congresswoman from Vermont. Here's what she had to say. Let's play it.
But I think is indicative of the fact that there are so many people in this administration that have some weird, intense homoerotic feelings towards men, while also being incredibly homophobic. And not just homophobic, but hate mongering, fear mongering about the LGBTQ community. So let me be clear. I don't think the homoeroticism is the weird part. The weird part is that they pretend that that's not what it's about. And so Pete Hegseth is the example of this, the manly, rugged, macho man. And it's I don't know if you know who Tom of Finland is. Tom of Finland, okay? This is gay male porn that was drawn by a man. And Pete Hegseth is the embodiment of that. So I feel like they must be looking at that as their example for what men look like. And in terms of not promoting women, we know what this is all about. The military, whether you support the military industrial complex or not, it has always been merit-based. The people who are the best of the best rise to the top. And so the fact that he has systematically been keeping down women and people of color gives up the whole game. It's actually not about a merit-based system anymore.
There you have it, everybody. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. WTF America. That's the book. Pre-order it. Right? Doesn't this all make you just go, WTF? That's what my reaction is to all this. WTF America. It's a book that I wrote with my brothers. I spent so much time writing this thing. Really, I haven't slept. Whatever. Go get it. Buy it. Pre-order it if you can. I dedicate it to you, the Meidas Mighty. So it's like a book that you wrote with me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers.
Breaking news right now. My brothers and I wrote a book. It's called WTF America. And well, doesn't that just say it all? It comes out officially this October, but you can pre-order your copy today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description below.